Meet your instructor. Hey there, this is Fabian Jeanmart, founder of the Never Depressed Again coaching program. I created this program to help busy women, female entrepreneurs, and working mums quickly improve mental well-being while improving their emotional stability without needing to become an emotional expert and having to spend countless hours on therapy sessions. I've been a clinical psychologist since 2001 and have helped over 6,000 patients overcome depression. I discovered very early on that this pathology is first and foremost an emotional illness, and that consequently, my job was to help people understand and control their emotions, and then to include this approach in a global understanding of how the brain works. This is our program, Never Depressed Again. Let me tell you something. What you know about depression is wrong. For example, depression is difficult to solve and takes time. The main emotion involved in depression is sadness. Depression is caused by a certain event that happened in adulthood. A depression could be caused by some genetic factors. A depressed person can't act by himself on depression. Instead, when understood, depression can be treated quickly in a simple way, but not an easy one. The most important emotion in depression is not sadness, but a big anger. We will explain it later. When understood, an individual can act on his own on his emotional status. We said that the most important emotion involved in depression is anger. So, how does it work? Let's analyze what kind of emotions are involved in depression. Culpability, sadness, self-depreciation, anger, loss of love. If we compare a huge sadness to a depression, there are a few differences. In depression, we find culpability, not in sadness. In depression, we find self-depreciation, not in sadness. In depression, we find anger, not that much in sadness. What we have discovered is that the more we love someone unconditionally, our parents or our children, the more difficult it is, or impossible, to feel and express a so-called negative emotion, like anger or rage towards them. But anger, rage, or other negative emotions are no less human than joy or happiness. We are conditioned to feel and express one and only one type of emotions towards the people we love, the good ones. But what happens when, for a reason or another, you feel a big rage or anger towards someone that you are only supposed to love? The only way the brain can solve an internal emotional and loyalty conflict is returning the emotion back to the sender. Please have a look at this illustration. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will consider that love and hate are only one emotion. Of course, this is not right, but it helps to understand. So, these two emotions have a starting point, a trigger, a direction, and an intensity. As we just explained it, let's say that when you were younger, you felt a big anger towards one of both of your parents. For example, I hate you. But you also know, because you learned it, that this is not something that you may express or even think about it. So, what will your brain do? Because this emotion has to be expressed, all emotions need to be expressed always. Your brain will return this anger against you, and instead of I hate you, it will become I hate myself, plus the culpability of having even thought about it. This way, your loved ones are still seen as very positive. They are protected, and your bad emotion is expressed. Here is another illustration about this principle. Another question is, after returning this emotion against ourselves, what do? Well, we continue our lives and we grow up until one day we encounter a situation that our limbic system associate with the situation that we have just discussed. It doesn't need to be exactly the same because the limbic system is not precise, but he always remembers. And that's here as adult that you experience depression. Let's analyze burnout. The emotions involved are engagement, injustice, fear, self-depreciation about competencies. Here the biggest differences are somebody who suffers from burnout is always someone highly engaged in his work. A lazy worker doesn't suffer from burnout. The goodwill to perform is still there, but not the energy. In every cases, the emotion of injustice is highly present in burnout. In burnout, there is always a high level of dedication and a high level of lack of recognition perceived. This creates the emotion of injustice. Again, there is an emotional loyalty conflict between the job we love so much and the injustice and lack of recognition that we may not express towards the company, the boss, or other colleagues. The brain solves this problem by the only way he knows: giving up. That was it. Hope this helps you to understand how depression works. Please remember, Emotions has always to be expressed in a way or in another. In front of a highly emotional situation, don't never ever think that you can just continue your life as nothing happened. Your brain will always remember and will wait for the moment to let this emotion get out of you. If not consciously, it will happen through your body, your quality of sleep, or more dramatic situations. All these topics are covered in detail in the Never Depressed Again coaching program. Before subscribing for the program, don't hesitate to watch the next video. Thank you very much for your time and hope to see you on the other side.